Shut up and sit down.
So what's up, everybody?
Yeah, hello.
It's a new week. It's a new day. It's a new everything.
Yeah.
So we are coming to you live from the Freja MMA headquarters once again.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get this thing started. And everybody, you wanted guests? We said we'll bring you guests. So here, you may know him as Mr. MMA Nytt, but we know him as the Master Raster. We have Ashah Tafari. Hey Ashah.
Yo, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm very well. I'm pretty sleepy because I was up until like 5 or 6 a.m. Writing a chronicle that's up now on MMA Nytt. But other than that, I'm good. I've had 2 IPAs and a coffee here, so the energy should be good now.
That's great, and we have the energy.
Yeah.
We did have a big weekend. You was there in Västerås as well.
Yep.
Johan and I was there, and we should get into that. What we was doing over the weekend.
You guys had great photos from the event.
Oh,
Cool.
thank you very much. Thank you.
I actually used your photo as a cover photo for my article.
Great.
Nice.
Great.
Thanks, man.
So we'll go straight into it, and we'll talk about some of the highlights, some of the great winners that we had over the weekend. But first of all, it wasn't a gold medalist, but she definitely got the Freja MMA award for best dressed.
Yeah.
This is Josephine Modig.
Yeah.
With the Wizard of Oz rash guard and the pink gloves and the white hair. I was like, that's the style. That's the style that you need to get noticed right there.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I was loving that one. She did get a silver medal as well, though.
Yeah.
So that was an upper at least.
Yeah. All laughs all through the fight and after. So
smiles all the way through, and it's just one thing that really stuck in my head was this colorful girl that that was fighting. So that was great.
She was tough as well, and I love it how the Swedish fighters are starting to become characters. They're finding their way to stand out from the mass. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, a personality really puts you above everything else, really, in this kind of work, I would say.
Definitely.
So
we also have a lot of good personalities. Like everyone I see who stands out. Normally, I want them to win. Like we don't have any. We haven't developed the bad guy character.
Yeah, Sweden doesn't have that yet.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
So the Mauler, if you're listening, become the bad guy. So then we'll go on to our next part, and this is I would say one of the big winners over the weekend for sure. This is Awad Korsadi, who got gold in the Ashah, what weight was it? Do you know what weight it was?
I want to say featherweight.
I think it was featherweight as well. MMA Class B though, and he said he would be competing in MMA Class A coming up, or at least training it now, and seems really excited to finally get some ground and pound in on the training and things like that. Very colorful character, and I mean, the first time I went to Fight Club Rush, he jumped out at me straight away. Hey, who are you? Like, oh, you have a website, that's great, and started talking and asking me if I read certain books and things like that. So he's really a great talker and a great fighter and a great personality all around. I think he'll go far.
I love Avat. I love him. He's such a cool guy. He's so nice. He's enthusiastic. He's passionate about the sport. And man, it was a fun interview. I mean, he's a Class B fighter, and already he knows how to talk to the mic and show some personality. And I love him. All the guys from Västerås Fight Club, they talk great about him as well. So that's a guy to keep an eye out for the future. He told me at the shoot challenge at Nexus, I think it was the last Liga tävling competition that that was before the SM, and he said, I'm gonna get a spot in the Swedish national team, and I believe him. I think he will.
Yeah, I also believe him. It's kind of crazy that we was coming into the gym to talk to all the fighters and everything, and he jumped out at me and said, "Did you see Cejudo versus Dillashaw? What did you think?" I'm like, "I'm here to talk to you about what you're doing. You have a big fight on the weekend." He's like, "Yeah, but last weekend, did you see it?" Like, he is so excited about the sport, and he's definitely one of the people that his personality can bring the sport to people that don't exactly on a huge follower of it, but the way that he speaks about it, you can really tell the passion is there.
Definitely, and he has an interesting story. It seems like as well. In his cage interview after the win, he said something about him, just leaving everything behind and training at Västerås Fight Club. So we'll probably have him at our podcast sometime soon to talk about his backstory and all that thing, because I think he'll be he'll be a good fighter, and he'll be an interesting personality to follow going forward.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people in the comments asking when he's coming in, so we hope to see him very close in the future. So the next fight from the SM final, I would say, was our fight of the night. And again, last Fight Club Rush as well, he was our fight of the night. It's Zoran Milic, once again getting the win, and he faced a very ready opponent in Sebastian Gonzalez. I mean, I'll say that Zoran Milic was down and, okay, I wouldn't say down and out, but he was definitely, I would say he was losing the fight coming onto that round, and he finally pushed it through and got the win. Great guy as well. Can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He was down 2 rounds, and I mean, just like, what is it? 24 minutes ago, I posted my chronicle about Zoran. I was so touched by this moment. I mean, I don't know about you, Reza, because you were also on the media row. I don't know about you, Johan, but man, I'm serious. I've been at UFC Liverpool watching Darren Till win against Wonder Boy. I've been at UFC 232 watching John Jones. I've been at some high-level MMA events, and I've never experienced a feeling similar like when Zoran turned the table. It was so cool, and it touched me. It was like the energy he generated. It touched all us around the cage. It was so powerful. I felt vibrations in my body. I immediately got goosebumps, and as I said, I published a chronicle where I basically lay out my feelings and emotions, and I actually, I mean, no doubt about it, this is the fight that stands out from the weekend, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, because it's more than just him winning. He's such a warrior. I've been talking to Jürgen Hamberg and Tobias Harila, asking them about Zoran, because they always say, "Oh man, he deserves it so much." And I've heard a little bit more about him and his backstory, because Zoran is such a shy guy, so he can't really say these things himself. You need to have the other people around him describing him, and you have to make sense of him. You can't really take it straight with him. You can't just put a camera up in Zoran's face and get his story. It's not that simple. So, man, I'm a very, how do you say? I'm a pretty weird and spiritual guy, and I like, I'm talking about energies and all that stuff, and but in my chronicle I end up talking about collective consciousness and just how powerful this moment was. It was a symbol for something much bigger. And
it seems like if we compare the two types of fighters, and obviously we have the big personalities, we have the people that are the talkers and tell people that they are everything. If you think of the Conor McGregors, or even like Awad that we've seen earlier, but it doesn't always go their way, and then when it doesn't go their way, the people really really turn on them quite quickly, I would say,
Right.
especially the Swedish public. But someone like Zoran, who every fight that I've seen him in has just bring the crowd round to just love him. You'll hear Zoran chants throughout the arena. I would definitely say that it was probably the loudest pop of the whole weekend at that point. And it wasn't even a pro event. It wasn't even a pro fight. It was an amateur fight, but. And you can see by the picture there with his coach, when someone says smiling with their whole face, he's not just smiling with his mouth. He's smiling with his whole face. That's the kind of energy that I'm guessing you're talking about. It's just the aura around him. It's just contagious.
Yeah, and I think it's actually something bigger than that, because I mean, as I said, I've been at several MMA events. I know the incredible feeling of being in a loud arena, you know, lots of supporters, seeing incredible moves. But this is bigger. This is, I feel, and you know, I mean, I don't have an answer really for what it is. I'm trying to figure it out with my words. But here's the thing. Between the second and third round, it feels like Zoran is leveling up. And I talked to Jürgen. He told me, like, he was saying, Zoran, you have to knock him out if you want to win this fight. And he said, plain and simple, yes, I will. And no emotion or anything. And then he just went in straight ahead and did it. And that moment it captured all the audience there, because it resonates with you. It's like it's a symbol for what everyone is going through in life. You have your obstacles, you're going through them, and when it pays off to do so. And I feel like, you know, I've been talking a lot about flow state with Tobias Harila. That's a well-known psychological state of mind you can get into. But that is more when you're brilliant.
You're already winning. You're in the zone from the get-go. Yeah.
Exactly. And here's the thing, because I see lots of similarities between Zoran's victory and Darren Elkin's incredible comeback win against Mirsad Bektik, and Jack Hermansson's incredible comeback win against
with the broken
Thomas
rib.
Freitas. Yeah, exactly. And obviously these guys had more physical injuries and all that stuff. But it's a feeling of, you know, just turning the table. And I feel that it's almost like these guys are snapping into some form of state of mind that is probably similar to flow, but it's not really flow. It's more like they are somehow they are able to use the energy of all the present minds watching this fight. And you know, I know that may sound weird and all that, but I can't really describe it, but it's so fucking powerful. And if someone deserves it, it's definitely Zoran.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we see Zoran coming into that third round, he didn't look like he was alone. He was definitely had a whole, like the crowd or an army behind him.
Yeah, so and the crowd reacting bigger to his win than Tobias Harila. That's that's something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a huge star on our hands here, and I think at least his coaches know it. Maybe he doesn't know it yet, but at least his coaches know that this is a guy that we gotta give the time to and really put the work in, because he's gonna go far. When I see him fight, I see a bit of Donald Cerrone, and I see a bit of Max Holloway in him, to the point of he has that warrior heart that he will just go out there and fight. He doesn't want to get you know, we all joke about Jürgen telling everyone not to get submissions, but he doesn't want to go out that way. He doesn't want to go there and bring someone down and get a submission. He wants to put on a show, and he wants to beat them.
Yeah, and the thing with Zoran is he has actually lost more fight than he has won, and that's pretty incredible, because Jürgen has been putting him in against top opponents from the get-go. And he has this never quit mentality. And I was talking to both Jürgen and Tobbe. And Tobbe said he don't spar with Zoran because he's so crazy in the training room. He just has this different mentality, and and Jorgen said he never taps to submissions. He just screams if his arm gets broken or something. You know, he's so crazy. And
so
he
if he's
goes
going to
in
be
there
choked out,
sparring
he's
with,
going to go out, kind of thing.
yeah, and he spars with Biagir, Andreas Gustafsson. I mean,
oh wow,
yeah, he's a crazy guy. He's a little flyweight, but he's a fucking killer.
Yeah, like I can't wait to see him very soon. So I can't say enough about him, and I also can't say enough about Sebastian Gonzalez. We can't fault him for anything. He gave a great fight. Just wasn't his day, and Zoran had the more heart on the night.
Yeah. I'd say that almost the entire crowd was recognizing him as the winner by the time they went into the third round, which, as you said, is a big part of the contribution to the reaction he got for winning.
And Zoran now, Jorgen says Zoran is going to have 2019 just racking up more amateur wins. Now he's number one in the national team, so he'll go to the European Championship and World Championship. But then 2020, the plan is for Zoran to go pro.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that any promoters that watch this podcast, he will be wanted. So you got to be quick.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You definitely have to be quick. So we'll move on to now the pro event, and it started off with Lucas Tenorio versus Ivan Zidar.
Yeah.
Now this fight, I would say it was a great starter for a pro event.
Yes.
And there was no quitting either of them, and Ivan Zidar with the leg kicks.
Yes.
Talk about slowing down an opponent from the bottom. So hitting a lot of leg kicks. Tenorio didn't want to go down, and I don't know, just kept eating them.
Yeah. And it's interesting because this fight was the only one on the pro card that I didn't have any expectations for, really. I know Ivan Zidar is a pretty good guy. I saw Lucas Tenorio compete. You guys did too at the Superior Challenge, and he got dominated. So I mean, I didn't have any big expectations for this. It was just like, okay, just a regular pro fight kicking off the event, but it was a great fight. Lucas Tenorio is a fucking warrior, and he got pretty much dominated throughout the fight, but he never gave up. Never.
No. So anyone that's watching the event back, watch the whole thing. Don't skip the first ones or anything like that. I spoke a bit to both of them afterwards, and a huge amount of respects to each other as well. So it was a great fight. And as well, I'm not sure how much Tenorio is traveling now. I mean, I'm not sure if he's now based in Sweden or in Spain or in Brazil. It's a bit of a mystery about where he's coming from.
The pronunciation was fighting out of Spain from Brazil. So I mean, he has to be doing a lot of moving around for that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he's obviously from Brazil. I think he trains in Spain, and he just ended up getting fights over here in Sweden. He seems like the guy just taking fights all over the world. Just everyone who offers him a fight, he's gonna be there, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So going on to another rising star from the Västerås Fight Club gym, it is Robin Roos.
Pretty boy.
Yeah, and look, as you can see, still pretty after the end of a fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that shows dominance right there, I'd say. So he fought Oscar Sivard, who had a very long. He fought in 2017. Is that correct? And then he had a very long layoff before that. I think it was then like 2004 or 2012 or something like that.
Yeah. I think he was 1-0 as a pro going into this fight, but I'm not quite sure because I heard someone else said this was his pro debut. So I'm actually not sure. I know Jorgen said that he's super experienced on the amateur side, and I don't know I actually don't know if this was his pro debut or not.
Yeah, I've heard that this was his third pro bout. So
third.
I guess the only way to get the real answer is to ask him. Yeah, maybe we'll come up with a crazy answer instead.
You can't trust the Sherdog these days.
No, definitely not. Those things need to be updated quick.
Yeah.
Robin Roos with very skillful and quick work, I'd say. I mean,
Did my camera freeze?
I think everything froze.
But the audio stays on. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we go. So yeah, Robin Roos. I mean, he's been an amateur champion in Adrenaline. He has been having a great amateur career. He's had knockouts in the World Championships. Now he's very successful pro debut, and I can see a lot of things coming from him.
Definitely.
I think he might have injured himself in this fight, so I think he's going to take some time.
Really? He said that?
I've heard that there was some injuries. I think it might have been Roos, and it definitely was Harilla.
Yeah, Harilla has a broken hand, broken thumb, I think, and BG had he was hurt in his hands. I don't know if it was broken or anything.
Okay, it might have been them too then.
Yeah, I think so, because Roos seemed like the more fresh guy of those three.
Well, we'll keep the what will happen next talk until a bit after. I've got a bit of a segment. What you gonna say, Tommy?
No, I just really enjoyed the fight. Obviously cheering for Roos being
the
in his home city. Yeah, so just a great outcome, great fight. Yeah,
and great tattoos, as you can see.
Yeah, I mean, Roos is a star in the making. He when he was in the IMMAF events, he didn't get any medal, but the commentators always they recognize, oh, this is a Swedish star, Robin Roos. He was knocking out his opponents with head kicks, and he did what he had to do in the amateur scenes. He's an experienced fighter, and now he's pro. The finish here was critical, because when he was an amateur, he couldn't knee to the head, right? And now he said,
exactly.
oh man, I've been here so many times and I couldn't knee in the head. Now I just felt like, oh shit, I can knee in the head. So and then he got a finish. So yeah, he's someone to watch for in the future for sure. Yeah. Robin Roos. But here's one interesting thing. There's been talks back and forth of Adam Westlund versus Robin Roos.
As I said, we'll keep the matchups for a bit later on.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll edit that out. All right, so we'll move on to the next. But Robin Roos, once again, a name to definitely look out for in the future. You're going to be seeing it a lot, including this guy, who I would say is definitely some great new blood into the light heavyweight division of Sweden. He moved so quickly for a light heavyweight, in my opinion. I've seen quite a few light heavyweights fight in all levels, in UFC, in Superior Challenge, and Cage Warriors. But Anton
Turkalj. Anton Turkalj.
I'm always going to be bad with the names, no matter what. That's why they won't allow me to be a commentator. Anton Turkalj. He is something else. He's also one of the people that has the personality and the tools to back it up.
Yeah, a real showman, that one.
Definitely.
Tongue out the entire fight.
Yeah.
just going for the taunts. These guys really threw their weight around. When this fight came on, it was like, wow, these guys are a lot heavier. The punches seem a lot harder.
But they didn't slow down compared to any of the other fighters.
They just went for it.
How often do you see 92 kilos doing spinning kicks like he's doing?
Yeah. It was a crazy fight. I didn't see the first round because I was interviewing BG. Robin Roos I was interviewing. But I saw the second round. It was crazy, and he's a fun guy. Anton Turkalj is a fun guy. I've talked to him several times now. This was actually the first time I met him, I think. Or I probably have seen him, but not talked to him really. So he's a fun guy. He's a showman, and he has a personality, as you guys say.
Yeah, and we saw by your after-fight interview that you can find on MMA Nytt site that he's not scared of the camera at all. He can stand there and talk about himself for a long time. And
it's funny because when he was in the national team, my colleague Stefan went there to interview all the national team members, and Anton Turkalj, he was showing his personality. He was pretty fun. I think he challenged the CM Punk or something like that, and the coach Chrissy Ringblom was pissed at him and said like, "Oh no, you can't do like that."
Yeah, turn it down a bit.
Yeah, you have to be serious and all that. And now he was like, "Oh, can I just speak my mind or what's what?" And I was, you just say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Okay."
Everyone should let him speak his mind for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's a funny guy, and he'll call out everybody. I mean, he sounds like he just wants to fight. He sounded like he wanted to fight next week, like after that fight. So, yeah, another dominant performance as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the pros it definitely as this far went the way that I saw it going.
Yeah.
So then we move on to.
Let me just say, Anthony's in a perfect spot because he's not only a young, hungry up and comer who's 2-0. He's also a light heavyweight, and the light heavyweight division needs prospects. So that's great for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and the way that he moves, he's gonna bring some trouble to the light heavyweight division. Yeah. No matter what promotion he goes into, he will send some waves in that. Get people to start getting faster, I would say.
Definitely.
So we go from talking about people who will be big stars to someone that's definitely already big. And this is someone that I definitely don't want to get the name wrong for. So this is Andreas Gustafsson Berry, or Berry Gustafsson. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. Please don't come after me.
No, it's Gustafsson Berry. You did it right the first time.
Okay, great. Yeah, or Bane or Barne, as people you like to say in Sweden. Yeah. This is a guy that he looks like a guy that you definitely don't want to be on the bad side of.
Yeah, he's a fucking monster.
He really is. Great grappling skills. Just the way that he was rolling around the back of Ole Magnor, which, Ole Magnor is a good fighter. Yeah. He is a good fighter, but he made him look like this was the first time going into a fight here.
You want to hear a fun story?
Well, no. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ashah.
Yeah, Jürgen actually said that the Swedish MMA Federation was concerned about this matchup because Andreas Gustafsson Berry was making his pro debut, and Ole Magnor is an experienced fighter.
Yeah.
And Jürgen said, no, listen to me, it's no problem.
Jürgen Hamburg pushed a bit of his SMMAF vice president weight around there and said, no, this is okay, trust me, I've seen this guy.
Like, trust me.
Yeah.
And he was right too.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm super impressed by Ole Magnor in this fight. I have not seen a fighter take that much of a beating for such an extended period of time without being able to give much back. And I just so fucking impressed. He stood for it for so long. Like by the second round, I was already like, wow. How many times would a normal person have been knocked out by now?
Yeah. I co-sign on anything you say. This is like Khabib versus Edson Barboza vibes all over again.
Yeah, I mean, complete ground domination, kept him exactly where he wanted him, and I know that there was talks about an illegal knee. I have watched the video, and I'm not too sure if it's a knee to the head or if it's a knee to like the top of the chest, to be honest.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see it, so I don't know really.
Yeah, but didn't get the KO win. Instead, got the rear naked choke, and even straight after he went out, he let go. He put him in a recovery position and stayed there until he was at least conscious. So that was a great thing to see. That you don't really see that often as well.
Yeah.
And you want to know how impressive his win was? Jürgen Hamberg actually told him to go for the neck. Jürgen Hamberg, who doesn't allow submissions, he was like, "Okay, now you have put a beating on him already.
That's enough.
You're allowed to go for the submission this time."
I think Jürgen can't tell Andreas Gustafsson Berry what to do at all. even in the picture there, he probably asked him if he can put his arm around him.
So one more thing, I actually snapped up on Bane afterwards, and he was standing there saying like, fuck, I wonder how many bones I broke in my arm. or in my hand. Like
Yeah.
he was worried he'd fucked up his hands pretty bad. But I don't know the results. I don't.
I think everything's okay because as his social media account is looking, he is hinting a little bit and giving everyone a bit of a taster of what's coming in the future. I did go through the hashtags and I was like, oh, Bellator, oh, Cage Warriors, oh, UFC, like. He's just giving everyone a few crumbs to follow, but only time will tell to see where he will end up. I know that the big promotions are looking for him, though.
He said his fight was going to be announced this week. I know from sources that it is a big organization. It's not a local level organization. It's a bigger promotion. So this will be good.
And as well for a 1-0 pro to go into a big organization, that is that's really something as well. So let's shoot through this. I know we're keeping you with a lot of time here.
No problem, man.
This was a what people would be calling an upset, but Darius Buda versus Hamza Bugamza.
Yeah.
Now, Hamza came in with a lot of hype in this fight. A lot of people saying you can't wait until you see this guy, and nobody really talking about Darius Buda. And this is the kind of story that I like to hear, and the underdog getting the win. Really, I mean, Darius Buda, he did not fear the striking of Hamza, who has over 60 Muay Thai fights and world championships. So great fight, and I think the stoppage was right in the end of the day.
Yeah,
I think the stoppage was right.
Yeah.
I felt bad because Hamza obviously didn't realize that it was finished. It was a good stoppage, and I hate to see when a guy gets upset because he is probably a little bit concussed, and that was a little hard to see. But I think when he watched the finish, I think he has turned around probably, and I mean. Here's the thing, Hamza has been gone for 2.5 years. This is one of the most unlucky fighters in the world. He has had several big fights canceled. He actually went to Manchester, and he was warming up for a fight, and it was like half an hour.
Wasn't that with ACB?
Exactly. It was one of their biggest events ever, and he was supposed to fight there, and they found some I think hepatitis. I don't know if it's same in English, but some they found something in his blood sample, and they pulled the fight. So I mean, super unlucky guy. And now he was making his comeback. He's so fucking inspirational, He's from the hoods. Everyone looks up to him, and he's such a positive guy who just sends out a great message. And now he was back. He was obviously. I don't like really the term ring rust, but I think it took maybe a little bit longer for him to find his rhythm than when he fought 2.5 years ago. But he controlled the fight from the start, and he was leading on points. But this is MMA. Anything can happen. And and Hamza is going to make a turnaround from this. Definitely, he is going to come back, and I still have faith in him.
Yeah, I saw him in the locker room after the fight, and he was very upset and took it to his team, and he kind of saw me in the kind of corner of his eye, and I just kind of came up to him and said, it was a great fight, and if this is the beginning of his MMA career still. I know it's been a long time, but it's still the beginning. He hasn't even had 5 MMA fights yet. So I was just saying to him, like, if this journey was easy, then everyone would do it.
Right.
Of course, you got to take the losses with the wins, and you got to learn from this. And I'm not usually one for putting up people's pictures when they are kind of down, but I felt like this picture really does show it really does put magnification on what this means to these fighters. Yeah. Just this one win. It doesn't have to be in a huge organization. It's just they feel like it's their livelihood, and he feels like he was robbed from
Right.
it. But definitely the right call.
And who knows? I mean, it was a good stoppage. I like when they stop it early rather than late.
Yeah, exactly.
But who knows? Maybe he could snap back into it, and you see here, like immediately when they stop it, he is awake again.
Yeah.
He was out. That's just a fact.
There was at least one ground shot that he didn't defend. His hands were down. So.
Right. Yeah. But I actually feel a little bit bad. Like maybe I shouldn't, but after Big E's victory, I was going backstage to interview him, and I just walked past Hamza, and I just reacted by touching him on the shoulder, saying "Good luck, man." And then I realized, oh man, I shouldn't do that. He's in the zone.
Some superstition kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Okay, everybody, don't touch Ashah before a fight. But to come onto a bit of a lighter note, I would like to say to all fighters out there, if you're going to get someone to perform your entrance coming out, please complete your entrance while they're still like rapping or singing or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't stand on the stage, because when he was getting patted down and Vaseline over him, I was just staring out, and there was complete silence in the crowd.
Where was the 2.5 minutes where you had music?
Yeah, and Ricky White, who was doing the emceeing of the night, came to me and said, "Yeah, this is a bit awkward now, isn't it?" So they're coming into complete silence now. But it was a great fight, and I think it's just a thing of Darius Buda got the better on the night.
Yeah. An aggressive explosion that ended it quick. That was
and that's a prospect to watch out for in the future as well. He's 3-0 now. He was obviously hungry and didn't fear anything in this fight. So I mean, that's a good prospect to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, definitely. So now we go on to the main event of the pro bout, and so it's the hometown boy Tobias Harila, who faced Bad Intentions, who faced Azevedo, or I think he's also known by Teto Terrano. I think the Brazilians have so many names when it comes to fighting, but this was a kind of thing of everybody was expecting the quick knockout from Tobias, and I'm pretty sure that's what everybody got.
I actually didn't expect that.
No?
I was watching the ceremonial weigh-ins and the stare down, and Carlos had I think 35 pro fights before this. So and I was actually thinking like maybe this is going to be Tobias' biggest test in his pro career.
Yeah.
Carlos was looking game and all that, but Tobias, he's learned how to access flow states, and I've been talking to him about that. That's a vital point to this, because he went in there and it wasn't really him thinking, oh, now I'm going to land this right hand. It was just coming, like he was just flowing around and enjoying himself, and he has scary knockout power.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's an inspirational guy. Like I love his energy. I see right now, like he is still young in his career, but I see already he is going to end up somewhere big. He is going somewhere. He's going to be a star. If that means that he's going to have some big belt around his waist or not, I don't know. But I know for a fact that Tobias Harila is going to be something big in this sport for sure.
Yeah, I definitely know that they are keep looking for higher and higher levels for him to it's not even face against, but to see what we can get it from himself. Mm-hmm. So so we'll jump into some fights that Ashah, you haven't seen these yet, but some fights that I think should be made from this at least.
So, just so you guys know.
Yeah, we have to quick shoot.
4 minutes.
We have to quick shoot.
We're gonna quick them out. We're gonna get them out so that we can get your opinion on these.
Yep.
So Buda versus Zidar.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good fight. They both put on great performances, and I think Darius Buda is. Sorry.
all-stars can get some revenge that way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think Darius Buda was a bit of a dark horse coming into here. Maybe we could see great things from him in the future.
Yeah.
You kind of spoiled the next one for me a little bit. So Robbie Roos and Adam Westland.
Yeah.
I know that they were supposed to fight before. I've heard that they don't like each other. I heard that the clubs don't like each other.
Yeah.
This is something that I think the big promoters should get, because this will fill some fucking seats for
Definitely.
sure.
I really like Adam's style in this. That I'd be split who I'd be cheering on. I think I'd have to go with Adam just because I like the way he moves.
Yeah, he has a great fighting style and really puts butts in seats.
Yeah, I mean, this fight, I know both the guys. I love them both. They're great guys. I wouldn't pick sides in this fight, and I don't want to make a prediction as well. But
don't put your money on anything.
No.
Right, but this is a fight to make. This would be a great fight for both guys. They're both 1-0. I love when it's a Swedish versus Swedish fight. Yeah, this would be great.
I know that Adam Westland's camp has a event coming up, but I feel like this kind of fight can be put onto a bigger event. Even than that, I think it could be put onto a Superior Challenge or a Cage Warriors, for example.
But here's the thing: they are hosting Lord of the Cage, and I feel this fight should rather be at maybe a little bit smaller event, but it should be the main event.
Yeah, just as well, just for the compactness of the fans. I mean, I think in that case, half of the fans will be on one side and half of the fans will be on the other. So,
right.
Yeah, I completely get you. So we're going for the call out as well. Anton Tafari versus Kenneth Berry.
Kenneth Berry, yes.
Yes. Yeah, that fight will also be a great one, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen straight away, because I think Kenneth Berry has maybe higher goals right now, but this would be a great fight for sure. And I want to see it. Maybe not next, but in the future for sure.
It would definitely be a fun one, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then here's my pick for Tobias Harela. And that is Liron Murphy. Have you heard of Liron Murphy?
No, sir, I haven't.
He is a great prospect from the UK at the moment. I think he's 7-0 in his pro.
Oh, really?
And undefeated as an amateur as well. So Liron Murphy, if anybody wants to YouTube his name, that would be a great contest against Tobias Harela. A guy with no fear and will just come up and fight anybody.
Yeah, because Tobbe is asking for a big challenge now. He wants to challenge himself. He wants to go in as an underdog. So if you have a 7-0 opponent against him, that's perfect.
Yeah, and it's kind of to the point of Liron Murphy may not be the biggest name, but he's definitely getting up there in the rankings in the smaller promotions in the UK.
And you know Tobbe doesn't care about names, and he just want to fight.
Yeah, so Jürgen, if you're listening up, Liron Murphy, get the fight done. And Liron, if you're listening as well, check out Tobias Harela.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now I have to leave because Starbucks is closing.
Okay, you're getting kicked out of your. He's got to go on to the next warm place, and.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Ashah, and everyone watching at home.
Yep.
And remember, it's not a hobby; it's a lifestyle. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Thank you.